Okay, here it is.
All right. What's up, everybody, man? Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome a special guest. I guess he hasn't appeared much on YouTube in quite some time. Maybe the last video was 6 days, but let's welcome this man, Eagles fan for life 17, man.
What
What's
up,
going on?
everybody?
Hey, how's it going, man?
Good.
It's good to know, man. But for those people who are not too familiar with you, man, tell them about yourself, man.
So I kind of been retired over the last couple years from making videos here on YouTube. I started doing YouTube videos back in 2010. What was then the Philly Heat back then. And then I did YouTube videos and then eventually the Philly Knights all the way up until I want to say 2017, 2018-ish, and then retired. I went out as Super Bowl champion during our first Super Bowl. And then I've been keeping an eye on videos and whatnot since the last couple of years. Like, I just basically reverted to like more of a vlog standpoint from when like I go to games, like vlogging like at games and like just shooting like films of like when I'm at a game or when big plays happen, whether it be baseball, football, if I'm sitting, down low at a Flyers game or if I'm at a Sixers game and something's going on. I just kind of reverted to that. And I will be there on Sunday. We got our tickets. And we will and we'll just kind of see how the game kind of goes. I know me and CG have some more opinions about the about our teams in the game, but yeah, no, that's what it is. I just obviously a couple days ago with Simus, that was unfortunate. I know me and you talked about that for a little bit.
Yeah.
But obviously
right.
Speaking and making videos, that's someone I'm used to going back and forth with, going back Eagles Cowboys days. But
yeah, rivalry.
A lot of memories on here, though. A lot of memories. So,
yeah, a lot of memories, and bringing some people out of retirement sometimes is something out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
I kind of look like I'm a little aging up myself a little bit, but yeah, just from you being an Eagles fan, like, how do you compare from this year's team compared to like last year's team? Because I know last year you guys had a really good squad, but this year I'm kind of shaking. Like, is this the best team we're gonna get this year, or what?
So the first difference I will compare is the play calling last year was hands down better. In fact, if you look at the Saints this year, Kellen Moore has like our offensive coordinator from last year took the job to be the Saints coach. Kellen Moore has like no talent on that team, and he was still able to scrap together 6 or 7 wins this year.
Something similar to Kyle Shanahan a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, and like he was always a good play caller, and actually. Good thing the Cowboys let him go. I actually thought he was a pretty good OC for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and then he went to the Chargers and then he went to the Chargers and they let him go, and then you guys got him. But it was kind of
a surprise. But I think that the play calling's up and down, hands down better. I will say I think our defense is a lot better than last year, obviously, because our defense got better from last year. Everybody came back with another year of experience, healthy. We added Jahad Campbell. Andrew Nakua has been hurt, but we added him. And there's a couple guys obviously we did lose Josh Sweat, but like the whole thing, it's like I think our defense is even better than last year's defense. But obviously the play calling and the team's practically the same team as it was last year. But I think the big difference is just the play calling just has been very, very mediocre.
So. Very mediocre, because I see it from your fans' perspective also. I see a lot of them keep saying this guy's name. Kevin Patullo is this guy. Is he like a favoritism, or is he Joe Biden playbook calling or something? That's what I'm hearing about.
Hard to say. I don't know if I'd go that far, but there were points during the season where I would say, like, dude, like we're running the same play every 3 plays, and I'm like, and then they're putting that on film. It's like, dude, like these teams in the NFL, like they're gonna catch on to this. Like I was actually surprised, like we won a couple games late the way we did in the season with everything kind of going on then. But there were certain times it's like, dude, you're running the same couple plays, like teams are gonna be onto this. And then there was other things too. I don't think Cam Jurgens has been fully healthy this year. There were plays in that Buffalo game. He was just getting blown off the ball, and Saquon's getting dropped for a 3-yard loss. But you got to think, Cam Jurgens is 325 pounds, 6'1", 6'2" he might be. He's got back and knee injuries. You got to think for someone that's that big, that's a lot of weight on that knee, and I'm sure that back's probably not holding up very well. So Dickerson's been battling injuries too, obviously with Lane. So I think that's also been kind of a weak point. But all 3 of them are really well rested going into this. So.
Yeah. I look at the Eagles like in a way they came into this game knowing that, you know what, I don't think it matters if we get the number 2 or number 3 seed at this point. We want to get the guys healthy. We want to make sure there's no injuries or nothing like that, So it's like one of those.
Yeah, I actually thought that the Eagles should have rested some guys last week. Like, obviously, like, I would have held off Lane for another week. Lane and Dickerson, Cam, Jurgens, I felt like all should have sat. I felt like Devontae Smith should have gone a little bit further. I think A.J. Brown should have been in there. I think Jalen Hurts should have sat because, obviously, like, you don't want him getting hurt before the playoffs. And I felt like certain guys should have sat, like Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips are both kind of battling injuries anyway. I felt like they should have sat. But I felt like certain guys should have sat, but not everybody. Obviously, the guys that are nursing injury should have sat, but, because there was the option right there. And, like, to a couple people's surprise, kind of a surprise to me, too, that the Lions beat the Bears last week. We would have been a 2 seed, and we would have been playing a depleted Green Bay team at home. And instead we're getting you guys, which is obviously a tougher matchup. But I still feel pretty good about where we are regardless, so...
Yeah, they were just being cautious, but I think the only guy who was playing was Smith. But even Smith played significant snaps and still was able to, still be able to get his 1,000 yards, and then they just went from there. But
he played for the entire first quarter, and he needed his 1,000 yards to get his $500,000 bonus. And we didn't see him after that. But
yeah, and then Tank Bigsby was pretty much running the ball, and then I guess your OC just abandoned the running game. I was watching it because I watch football and all the other stuff. I like watching the other teams in general. But
the
one thing I kind of look at the Eagles just from an outside looking in, I can see why your fan base keep pointing out this stuff. It's like, why are you guys stop running the ball? Like, keep running the ball at least.
Yeah, did you see that play where Tank Bigsby picked up Bobby Wagner and threw him to the ground?
Oh, dude, I seen that. Like, how does a guy like around that weight just body slam that linebacker? But still, the guy was abandoning the running game. Wasn't he averaging like 6 or 5 yards a carry?
Yeah, he was averaging like 5 or 6 yards a carry. And see, this is my concern. Like, Tank Bigsby probably would have had a 100-yard game on Sunday if we didn't abandon the run. And see, that's my concern. Then you're asking Tanner McKee, who's our backup, to throw it 40, 45 times a game. And it's just like, this is kind of been the Eagles' frustration this year. It's like the play calling. It's like, what are you doing? And they kind of abandoned the running game, I felt, when the Eagles were winning. They were winning 17-10 late in the third quarter. So,
especially when you have a lead, don't you want to just run the clock? And that's what I was kind of like, just from shaking my head. And I'm starting to realize, well, maybe this is why I want to play these guys, because maybe you guys are probably too confident, and I think it's a good thing you guys feel confident. But I think the thing with Barkley was he was a big factor last year. This year, not so much, averaging 4.1 yards a carry. Then last year, he had like 5.8 yards a carry.
Yeah, I think Saquon, obviously, the big thing with the offensive line being banged up has played a huge part. Has played a huge part in that, I feel. Lane Johnson missing time. I think obviously Cam Jurgens and Landon Dickerson, I feel like those guys are way more banged up than what they're telling us. And last year, our offensive line was like, they were healthy as can be like all year. And obviously you have Saquon and his fresh legs, and like he was just going off. But I will say about Saquon, he's been a lot better in the last 3-4 games leading into the end of the regular season. He broke that run against the Chargers. He had a good day against the Commanders and Bills. So obviously that Chargers game didn't end in a win for obvious reasons, and it should have. But I mean, that's a different story for a different time.
Yeah, different day.
So, yeah.
But just from watching the game, the other game when you guys were playing the Chicago Bears, like I kind of noticed that the Bears defense, they didn't even have their starting linebackers. They were going through injuries, and I seen how you guys were playing against them. You made those backup linebackers look like starting caliber guys out there.
Yeah, and honestly, like that was probably our worst game of the year, realistically. The play calling was so bad the first 3 quarters of that game, and that's like kind of one of the games I've been talking about where like it's like, yo, you're running the same 3 plays all game, and then you're putting this on film. Like other teams are going to catch on to this.
Yeah, they're going to catch on to something similar. But, like, I know going into this game, a lot of your fans said maybe we should have got the number 2 seed. Did you think it was the right decision to bench some of your starters, or did you really think it was necessary.
Again, I think there were some guys that would have to be sat. Obviously, like a couple guys on our offensive line should have sat. I felt like Jalen Carter, Jalen Phillips should have sat. But a couple of the guys like Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, Zach Bond, honestly, I would have played those guys. Like certain guys who you know are, but Jalen Hurts is another guy I would have sat. Certainly Saquon probably too. And like guys that like you know are banged up that you need to be healthy going into the postseason, I would have sat. But then there's other guys that are like more durable. Honestly, I would have played them. Is how I felt they should have gone about it, especially when like you know the Bears are getting. And that'd be one thing if like you see the scoreboard, you see the Bears have a lead, and like okay, the 2 seeds probably out of the question. You start pulling more guys. That's one thing, but like I felt like at the very least they should have played more guys last week. Of course, there's obviously guys where like I felt like should have sat, but.
Yeah, there's a lot of those questions, but I think when we know about Sunday's matchup, we're going to see how that plays out. I mean, it could either be the brilliant decision because you guys are going in healthy. You're going to get some guys coming back. You're going to face a much beat up Niners team. On paper, it looks like you guys should be able to dominate us because health-wise, talent-wise, that's what everybody looks at. Like, matchup-wise, this is supposed to be Eagles' favorable matchup, just from paper alone.
Yeah, I do think we should win this game, obviously, but I will say I do think it'd be a close game. And the only way we don't win this game is if we beat ourselves. And we have lost games this year, obviously, where, like, we've beat ourselves. So.
Yeah, a lot of the play calls comes down to your offense, too. I don't think your defense is quite the issue. I think it's more of your offense because if your offense is stale, I see teams started catching on. But when it comes to your defense, it only has certain moments. You know, it might give up some runs here and there. It might give up some certain passes. But I've checked out on some different games where you've kind of given up some big plays on the running backs when they catch the ball at the backfield. That might be a deadly type of thing we might have to try to go against.
It might. I will say about that, though, one of our better defenders of, like, running backs catching balls out of the backfield is Nakobe Dean. And he's right there up with Lane Johnson as far as whether or not he's going to play this week, just because he's a short linebacker that can run. And he's actually a pretty good tackler. But he's been out the last couple weeks. And they're saying Nakobe Dean's supposed to play. His backup, Jihad Campbell's a rookie. But Jihad Campbell had a couple big moments for us this year. Obviously, he's a good tackler. And, like, Jihad Campbell's still young, so he's still learning. Took him in the first round, 30th overall.
Yeah, he could have been easily a top 5 10.
He
would have been a top 5 or top 10 pick from those draft boards because I've seen a lot of like talent from him out of Alabama.
Yeah. So, but we are supposed to get Nakobe Dean back, and he is a pretty good defender at that. Honestly, I think the Eagles have the second best defense in the league, and has certainly played like it over the last 8 games. So.
Yeah, like their defense is not too far off with Seattle's defense. Like you got a lot of the guys that can play at the highest level. You got this one guy, Hunt.
Jalen Hunt, yeah.
Yeah, very underrated. He can tackle. He can really get to the quarterback. I mean, what else can the guy not do? I mean, you guys got a lot of different pieces. Like, especially if Jalen Carter is at full health, he's been very dominant. Like you even got Jordan Davis, who's a big, dominant D tackle. I mean, if you guys are at your full health, I think that's what makes your defense so good.
Yeah, Jordan Davis should have been a Pro Bowler this year. Like he was snubbed, I felt. And
yeah, that's a joke right there. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know what kind of 40-pound guy or 60 guy can get a block field goal or take up to the house, man. Like, what kind of guy would do on that Rams game, right?
That Rams game, yeah. He was even saying it after the fact. He was saying he ain't ran that fast since his 40-yard dash.
But even at his weight, I think he ran a 4.7 at the combine.
Which is fast for a D tackle.
Yeah, for a guy at 340 or 350, right? Man, that's big.
Like, he's a big dude.
We got this one big guy from Texas named Alfred Collins, 6'6", 330 or something.
Okay,
big guy.
Yeah.
But like, how do you feel? Like, what? Just from you being a fan of the Eagles, what do you look at the Niners? Like, what concerns you? Like, what can be something that you have to look at and say, man, we got to watch out for these type of plays from the Niners?
I'm thinking like Brock Purdy throwing the ball, probably the middle passes, like nothing deep, but like middle of the road passes, slants to being big ones, especially the way like watching how you guys can move the ball. Obviously, got to watch out for the running game, but like I think we should get to you guys a couple times. But obviously, and also like Brock Purdy's a quarterback that he's been in the big moment before, and a lot of your guys on your offense are guys that have been in big moments before. Like again, I don't know if Trent Williams is going to play, but Trent Williams is a future Hall of Famer. And if he's able to play, that's a guy to where like you guys are probably going to need him this week.
Yep.
So there's a lot of guys on your offensive side of the ball. I think your linebackers, you guys got Michael Kendricks' brother now, right?
Yeah, Eric Kendricks he's already been promoted to the active roster.
But the thing with those guys is like you guys just signed them, right?
Oh, Kendricks has been on our roster for a month. He was just on our practice
so that's
squad.
Still kind of recent.
Yeah, we just signed Kazir White.
I saw that. Yeah.
I don't know if he's going to play right away because it depends on D. Winters. He might still play. So we already put Tatum Bethune on injured reserve. So
okay, wow,
man, we got too many linebackers on IR.
Yeah,
and the crazy part is, how much more wins do we need to get Fred Warner out there, man? That's the crazy part.
So what's going on with Fred Warner? I know he's hurt, but like, what's going on exactly with him?
Oh, he's recovering from this fractured ankle where it was dislocated, but it seems like he's in good progress to where he's quickly recovered than expected. So if we win like 2 playoff games, NFC Championship game is like very likely that he'll make his return.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
But that's if we can take care of business first.
I know he's not playing this week. I know that.
No, he's not. You're not going to worry about this, man. What you're going to worry about is Michael Kendrick's brother. You're going to have to worry about possibly Kazir White or Curtis Robinson. That's all you got to worry about. Or if D. Winters can even play. We'll see. Okay. Oh, we got one of my favorite guys. We got Danny Golden
Danny Golden's in the building. Let's go.
Oh, we got good old A-Bomb over here.
Oh, A-Bomb's in the chat. Damn.
Yes, guys. We got a bunch of the gang in the building, but yeah, I know. It's crazy. But yeah, when you look at the matchup wise, what really concerns me about facing the Philadelphia Eagles, it's I'll be honest, like looking from how your defense plays, man. Like I don't know if our offensive line can hold up to your guys' D line. I don't know. It's like you guys got a lot of guys who can rush. Like especially Nakobe Dean, if he comes back, your linebackers are going to start making quick plays. The only concern that I look at from the Eagles' perspective is maybe 2 of your secondary players. I think there's some suspect on Blankenship playing safety. He's a step slow at times in coverage. Then you have Adoree Jackson, or was it Ringo, who plays the other side of the secondary?
So Adoree Jackson's kind of replaced Darius Slay this year. I personally felt like we should have brought Darius Slay back for one more year, but I mean – just seeing the year he had with the Steelers this year, I mean, he's at the end of the road. So it just kind of is what it is. And it was a contract decision. But Adoree Jackson's been our second corner this year. He's been our second corner this year. And then Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean, honestly. I've been saying all year, Cooper DeJean's quick. Like, it should be Cooper DeJean playing cornerback number 1. I never understood why they do that. But Fangio's got it to where, like, it's worked very well. So it's hard to really even question.
Well, his versatilities is something very unique about him. Like, even him coming out of the draft, he was one of my draft crushes, Cooper DeJean, because I liked his skill set. Like, he was more than, like, maybe like what you look at a cornerback, safety, nickel. Like, he's the kind of guy you would want in your secondary, which he's turned out pretty good.
Yeah, so when we drafted him, I actually thought we were drafting him to play safety. I was kind of surprised when we drafted him to play corner, but like I said, it's worked. Kelee Ringo is someone that he projects more of a nickel corner, which is also why, but Kelee Ringo's a special teams player, a gunner, and a backup corner. Anytime they put him in there, like to start, he's looked brutal. But he's nothing more than a nickel cornerback or a special teamer or a guy that an extra body you're gonna throw in when the opposing offense is lining 4 or 5 receivers out. So
I mean, he's a lengthy cornerback, but he just doesn't cover well, is what I've heard about.
Yeah, I would say that. But again, it's just special teamer, backup. That's really all he is. So,
yeah, like when I look at the certain positions of weakness, I mean, Mostly it's the linebackers, the pass rushers. I mean, yeah, when you lose certain key players, you're not going to get the similar production. I mean, that's why our pass rush or sacks have went down
Yeah.
since Bosa was out for the year, and even with Fred Warner being out, it's an interchangeable
Bosa tore his
position.
ACL, right?
Yeah, third time.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's been kind of hard to replace his production, personally. I mean, you go from Bosa to Bryce Huff taking more snaps than he's supposed to be like he's supposed to be more of a rotational guy, not a starting material, but we're putting him out there.
How many sacks does he have this year?
4 sacks.
4. Yeah, that's kind of how he was with us. I wanted him back last offseason, but like Howie again, and there's obviously like in a couple years, like Jalen Carter's going to want to get paid. Quinyon Mitchell's going to want to get paid. Cooper DeJean's going to want to get paid. You know, that there's some guys that are going to be entering like further into their rookie deals. They're going to want to get paid. And that's how he knows that. So it's just like, he's a rotational guy that's just going to get you 3-4 sacks a year. He's a body basically.
Yeah.
Like Jalen Hunt was better than him here. BG, even in his last couple of years, was better than him here. I will say about BG, lately they've been lining him up as a D tackle, just like the first Super Bowl we won, and it's actually works wonders. So,
yeah, and you guys were getting him off of retirement too, because he was just taking I think he was done with football, but you guys were really coming off with injuries, and you guys made a call for that guy.
Yeah, and he came back. So.
Yeah, he's been kind of he's kind of been huge dividends. Even at his age, you would think, man, this guy should call it a career. But, some people have a love for the game, so you never know, man. So, part of these players, man, we got a lot of these nobodies. You get Sam Okawanu, who just been pretty much a guy we've been having on our practice squad for quite some time, but he was on our roster for the entire season. Then you have guys like Khalil Farrow, man. This guy was he was actually 2 picks after Nick Bosa in the draft, and he became a draft bust for the Raiders. But he got 4 sacks this year. He's kind of been he's kind of been okay. I mean, you look at the rest of our D-lines, bro, it's just nothing but a lot of these young guys. But I think what gives you guys more the advantage if your offensive line is fully healthy and they can block. I mean, they've been good before, but how do you feel about your offensive lineman from this matchup alone?
Yeah, I think that the rest helped, obviously. Should be getting Lane back in. Honestly, historically, the Eagles have struggled without Lane Johnson in the lineup. They have struggled without his presence. So to get him back would be huge. Dickerson and Juergens both sat last week, which is big. Jordan Mailata has been a borderline Pro Bowler now for at least a couple years, and he's a great left tackle. I mean, he's not Jason Peters good, but when we had Jason Peters all the years we did, but he's a quality left tackle, and that's really what it is with our offensive line right now. It's just because Cam Juergens, he's got knee issues and he's got back issues, and obviously, when you're a big dude, it's just that's a lot. And Juergens, he got hurt in the NFC Championship game last year, and he kind of, I don't know, man. It's just been back and forth with a couple different injuries with him too. So, and then obviously the whole thing with Lane and his foot injury, and just getting him back, just getting all those guys healthy. That's really what we need, because our offensive line all year hasn't really been healthy all year. And it's been our whole offense's Achilles heel, if you ask me. So,
well, this year it's been a little bit of your Achilles heel, but in previous years it was always one of your guys' strength,
yeah.
But I think this year, like you said, the center position is probably the one weakest spot of your offensive line. I mean, Juergen can't be as worse as Jake Brendel. I could just tell you right now. Jake Brendel's looking solid right now, but I've been calling this guy trash for many, many years. And I guess for being such an outspoken guy, he took the time to block me.
Yeah.
Nah, I mean, if you're just a guy playing into the system, I guess you look solid. But when I see how you play, I call it out, man. But
yeah,
Cam Juergen can't be that worse. But I guess it's the injuries, right?
Yeah,
because he was good at Nebraska. He was a good lineman at Nebraska.
He was a Pro Bowler last year for us. He was he didn't give up a sack all year last year, actually.
Yeah, because he was somebody from Nebraska that's the guy I wanted in the draft to play center, but I guess he's dealing with injuries.
He sat 2 years behind Jason Kels.
Yeah.
Kels was probably teaching him a lot during that time, as was our offensive line coach, Jeff Stoutland.
which was beneficial. And you guys got one of the best offensive line coaching Stout, man. So that guy knows how to coach at the best position. But Chris Forrester, man, like I'll give Forrester some credit, but man, this guy thinks that Jake Brennel's an all great damn center. He must be still on that yayo stuff, man. He must be snorting that coke, man, because this guy sucks. I mean, I don't get what he sees in the guy, but I guess when he looks at offensive linemen, he looks at quality, but he doesn't look at like the way you guys value offensive linemen. I would just wish they would do something similar to what you guys do, but I guess it's different scheme or different system wise.
Yeah.
I mean, just from looking at as far as a team and unit, I know your play call is just a little different because you had with Moore, because Moore was more of a better play caller. It's a lot different than what you got with Patullo. But does this even put Patullo in the hot seat if something happens in this matchup? Like, let's say,
if we lose this game, I think the sports talk media, 94 WYP will be a mess all week. Everybody will be calling for Patullo's head. The fans, the media will all want him fired. Who knows if it'll actually happen? I think it would be the right thing to do.
But no one under Sirianni, I don't think he probably would right now.
I don't think so either. But I also think there is a positive to if like he were to stay. Like Jalen Hurts has had a different offensive play caller every single year in his career, except for one, and it was when our first Super Bowl. It was during our first Super Bowl run. He had Shane Steichen, who's now the Colts coach. He was a play caller for the second straight year that year. Speaking of the Colts, I actually think with Shane Steichen, I think he's a good head coach. They've just had some bad luck
with injuries,
particularly with their quarterback, with other injuries too. I just feel like over the last couple of years, he's had some bad luck as a head coach there. But if Patullo were to come back, I feel like Jalen would have a play caller for the second straight year for only the second time in his career. And the last time he did in year 2 of that second year of having the same play caller, he almost won NFL MVP that year.
And that's what Steichen as the OC.
Yeah, and I feel like that'd be beneficial to him, but also it would be like such a disappointment. I feel like, sports talk radio would be a mess. The media would be calling for his head. The fans would be calling for his head unbelievably. And it would probably be the right thing to do. But again, there would be a silver lining to it. So,
I mean, that would be the silver lining is you wouldn't have to switch a coordinator. That would be the only thing. But out of the negativity, it's more like his play call can be a little predictable. But man, I get that he's not quite. I get that he's a rookie play caller. I get that he's still kind of like somebody like still new to this type of role. And I think he tries to do too much. Maybe that's what it is as a rookie play caller. But the one thing I just don't quite get, man, like your fan base is just crazy, man. Like how the heck do they just go to this person's house to egg, man? I don't understand. And they put a sign, fire him. Like what?
I don't like it when our fans do stupid shit like that. There's certain things like I can defend and tolerate, and then there's certain things I can't. And that's definitely something that I can't tolerate. Like there was a video that went viral this weekend. These I don't know if you've seen it, like these fans were in the parking lot fighting. And dude, it looked like for the first 10 seconds of the video, they were fake fighting. Like they were just to draw attention. Then they started throwing some haymakers. And I was like, oh, they're not messing around. Because it looked like it was so bad. It looked like they were just messing around. But sometimes I don't get our fans.
Yeah, your fans are ruthless or they have a different kind of behavior. But it's like, if I were to even go to one of these games, man, I would have to watch myself behind, man, because I see that a lot of your fans don't like that opposing fans out there.
You know what it is, honestly, over the years, like you might hear certain things living on the West Coast there, but I've been going to Eagles games for a long time, and like certain people that have in this circle have gone to games with me or at least met me down there will tell you, if you don't act up, the fans will show you your respects, but also a lot of the rowdy shit happens in the parking lots now.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah,
I've seen videos. I've seen a lot of the videos from different fans, even people who are just. Dude, it could just be like a Vikings fan or a Dolphins fan just coming in in a game and they just bash them.
But in the stadium, I'll tell you right now, they've raised I can count on one hand the amount of times they haven't raised our tickets for the following for the next year. They raise our tickets every year. Our season tickets in the lower level went up by almost $40 a seat last offseason. And
Damn,
we
a
won the
lot.
Super Bowl, so that's obviously would play a part in it. But that's a high jump. And
High jump from what it.
I feel like Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles brass, what they've been trying to do over the last couple of years, I feel like they're raising the prices on us, not because they're greedy. I mean, yeah, they're going to do it because like they're billionaires and it's more money in their pockets. But I
And
feel
it
like
helps their brand. Yeah.
yeah, I feel like it's that, but I feel like it's also they're trying to price out like the fans that are crazy because like back in the 700 level days, like you can get into games for like 10-20 bucks, but can't do that anymore. So like I feel like they're trying to price out the craziness and price out the crazy fans that can't afford to go to
Want to
games.
go there, and regardless, like that, those are the kind of fans. Even some of them who can't even afford it, they'd be kind of nuts to just go there.
So a lot
But,
of times what people do now is the ones who can't afford to go to the games, well, they hang out in the parking lots and tailgate only. They don't go into the stadium and they're just there to tailgate, and that's where you see all the craziness. You're not really going to see it as much in the stadium anymore because it's more of a professional environment. I mean, yeah, you still get some booze here and there, but nothing like you see in the parking lot. And that's kind of what it's become in Philly over the last few years, I'd say.
yeah, it's quite pricey to go to these games in Levi Stadium. Also, like you got to take like for certain tickets for certain games, man. It costs a lot.
I'm sure. No, I'm sure. Around the league too. I've been to games in other cities. Like it's definitely not cheap, but
The only one that seems affordable is the one in Phoenix. Right down Arizona is the one
I've
that.
been by that stadium, but not actually like in it. I've been to their baseball stadium in Phoenix or the Diamondbacks play, but I've never been to where the Arrow.
Well, the stadium, yeah. State Farm is pretty decent stadium, but I mean, that's going to be like my next destination where I want to be moving to.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, Arizona's a nice state. I've been there. It's very nice there.
Yeah, I mean, different stadium experience-wise. I mean, it's got at least a solid stadium. I mean, Levi doesn't compare to what I've been through. I mean, I've been to the NFC Championship. That was the last game I went to.
At Levi's?
The championship game where they played against the Detroit Lions, man.
We were
down by 17.
You guys were losing that game and came storming back.
Yeah, and then Eminem just came like into the top of the booth and threw a middle finger, man. Dude, it was just funny how he was being arrogant, a little cocky, a little bit.
I seen that.
Yeah, it was kind of funny, but it was no harsh on the guy. It was funny.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get a good laugh out of these celebrities, man.
Yeah.
Especially Kevin Hart, who happens to be a big Eagles fan.
Yeah, big Eagles fan. We got a couple guys. Bradley Cooper, who's actually
the one Hangover, yeah.
Yeah, he's actually born not that far from where I'm at, but he's in Pennsylvania. And but Kevin Hart, Bradley Cooper, Will Smith.
Yep. And there's quite a good. I mean, there's a lot of them, but like a lot of the celebrity. I mean, a lot of like the city of Philadelphia. Like when people go there, they always look at the Rocky statue or the Liberty Bell or mostly the Philly cheesesteak is what everybody talks about over there.
Yeah.
Like
by
just
the way, don't ever go to Pat's or Geno's.
Pat's or Geno's?
Yeah, those are the main. Like those are the tourist spots as far as cheesesteaks go in Philly.
I wouldn't know which one.
Like they make that shit so fast. It's like, dude, like it's like borderline McDonald's, and those are the two most talked about places.
I wouldn't know which one's the best.
Yeah.
I would have to go down there to know the difference, man. So it's like, if you were to be my destination tour, then maybe I would go there.
Yeah.
But I mean, just from this alone, man, how do you feel about this like prediction score, or how do you feel your team's gonna end up playing like, bro? I mean, there's a realistic. I mean, it depends on Trent and Ricky for me, man. If we can get those guys, then maybe we have a decent shot. But really depends on how it plays.
Yeah, so I feel like that is going to be we're probably going to know tomorrow whether or not they're going to play or not, because I can tell you right now, if those guys don't practice at all tomorrow, I wouldn't expect them to suit up. I think that's going to be really indicative tomorrow whether or not they're. But either way, I think, again, it's usually a close game, and we usually with these Eagles games and this kind of game in general, I feel like it'll be a close game. It'll probably come down to the fourth quarter, and I feel like we'll probably end up winning a close game. I'm going to go with 23-20 Eagles.
Yeah, seems fair. Like, I mean, respectfully, you guys are going to be healthy. You guys are getting your players coming off injury, so it's going to be more of a beneficial to you guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, if we get Trent and Ricky, which will gives me a different talent, then I see us maybe somehow sneaking and crawling. But if neither of those guys play, man, I feel like it's gonna be a long day, man.
Yeah.
We just gotta wait and see. But it really depends on how your offense plays, man. If your offense is not gonna score more than 20 points, that can be a very close game there too.
Yeah, and I just see not that long ago, like we're top 5 in 3 and outs actually. Like if we're playing against you
That's
guys in the
bad.
playoffs, like we can't go 3 and out. Like, and I hate it when that's my one pet peeve about the Eagles right now, and just in general, not even just here this year, but any year. Like I hate going 3 and out because then you're giving the
Yeah,
ball
when you
right
go
back to
3
the
and out, it
other
takes away
team.
it gets the defense tired and it
Yeah,
takes
it
away
tires
the
the
rhythm.
defense out. You're giving it right back to the other team, and you fall behind. It's like I hate that, but.
Well, that game against Buffalo was kind of like one of the worst halftimes I've seen from the Eagles.
And I was saying this with the Buffalo game. We had a really good first half, and this is not the first time this has happened this year. If you don't remember, like
It's
the
been
Bucks game, the Rams game, where we have a really good half, and then like completely like a Dallas game being one of the primary examples at
exactly.
Dallas, where we have a really good first half and like then fall apart in the second half, and we keep the other team in the game in the process, and like even against you guys, man, like we can't just come out, get off to a good start, go up a couple touchdowns on you, and then just completely stall in the second half while keeping you guys in the game. Like that won't work in the playoffs. Like you
It
can't.
won't work in the playoffs. If you give us a little opportunity and all we got to do is capitalize on it, we won't try to miss on it, man. Even that Seattle game might have been a little bit of I think that Seattle game was a little bit of an outlier because it was more like we had opportunities, but we just couldn't get to it.
Yeah, I was surprised you guys looked that bad in that Seattle game. I actually had you guys winning in that game in Steven Rose's tournament. I was surprised by
But they
that.
only scored 13 points when they could have had a couple opportunities, man.
Yeah. Someone was saying it to me not that long ago. Should we play Seattle down the road? They're not sold on Sam Darnold, which I would agree with. But also, like with Seattle, it's just like that environment, the history of the Eagles playing the Seahawks. It's just like,
It's kind of been tough.
yeah, they're one team I wouldn't want to see down the road.
It's like they have some kind of voodoo with you guys or something like that.
Yeah, like I'd rather see Chicago again before seeing them. Like I'm not kidding with that either.
But if it had it come down to it, would you even rather play the Rams or the Niners if you had to choose? If it was just different scenarios?
Right now, probably you guys, because I see you
Fair.
guys are nursing some injuries and you're a little banged up, and the Rams are more straight.
That's
The Rams
fair.
offense, obviously, and the Rams offense gave us fits earlier in the year, and again, thank God.
And that could be challenging right there too. And you're facing a much depleted team, and depends on how you guys do on our defense. Because if you guys get rolling, then it could be a long day. But if you guys play like you guys were those previous weeks, man, it could be anybody's ball game.
Yeah, and again, like the way we did it multiple times this year, you can't get off to a fast start, get off to a good start, go up a couple scores, and then like completely stall while keeping you guys or any other playoff team in the game. Like that's not going to work in January. And I said that after the Buffalo game. So
yeah, that Buffalo game was more like, you know what, you guys had a big lead, and then all it took was a couple opportunities for Buffalo to capitalize. And it took Buffalo a while to start clicking, and then they were just too late on clicking.
Like really another thing, it's like the offense just gets conservative, they stall out, and then you're expecting this top 3 defense to take over and hold their own, but like by the end of the game they're going to be drained. Like again, it just can't happen in January. So
yeah. And I think that's what's going to happen is Philadelphia's going to have to just be more better in the second half, because I think first half you guys might have a good start, but then going into halftime, I just think your offense is more stalled. They don't try to run the ball as much as they do because they were on a good start running the ball in the beginning part.
Yeah.
And then they just abandoned the running game and just have your backup quarterback throwing like 40 passes.
Yeah. Which, again, can't happen. So
yeah, I just don't understand it, because in those Super Bowls, Kyle Shanahan had chances to close out games. Like, why are you passing when you have 6 minutes on the clock and you have a 10-point lead? What are you doing?
Yeah.
It just makes me shake my head a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, would you even want to throw the pass? I mean, pass the ball when you have a lead with like 2 possession lead? and
No,
you just
absolutely not. Like
try to run the ball, right?
I expect Saquon to get the ball. I expect even Tank Bigsby to get the ball, and I expect those guys to get the ball and ground and pound the rock. That's what I expect.
Yeah, at least try to do that. Even if you don't get a first down, at least you're running the clock a little bit. Unless they put the timeout.
Yeah.
But you want to at least have them burn timeouts or at least run the clock a little bit.
Yeah. Another thing to look out for in this game. So Jalen Hurts' strength is running the football, quarterback draw, and running the ball.
That's the one thing we got to focus on.
And it seems like for a little bit this year, like they tried to limit that. And someone in the Philly media, and the Philly media is just like, you should listen to the nonsense we hear.
Oh, dude, they seem to be, they're the craziest ones I've heard.
Yeah.
Like, they complain a lot.
Like, it's almost as bad as the New York media.
The New York media is a lot worse too, but I've heard a lot from Philadelphia more.
And like they called them out. Like there were reports coming out about how Jalen was like, "Oh, I don't want to run the ball anymore because, there's the more chance of you getting hit and getting hurt." And like Jalen was confronted about it. He was like, "Well, where are you getting that from?" And he was like, "Oh," the reporter was like, "Oh, it's not my reporting, this and that." But like, but also like watching Jalen Hurts play, not just this year but over the years, him running the football, quarterback draw and getting like 10, 15 yards on these quarterback runs, and then coming back and throwing for 15, 20 yards. Like that's a dual threat quarterback. And that's also like one of his biggest strengths. He's one-dimensional and just being a passer is not, that's not his strength.
No, he's got the mobility. He can move, but like at times he just needs to be, he's trying to be more of a passer, and I get it, but he does kind of utilize his legs at times. But you said this year he hasn't quite been as mobile as he's been previous years, but in other games he's had opportunities to run the ball. So it wouldn't shock me if we do somehow try to rush him and he tries to run around. That might be my only concern about Jalen Hurts. He might be able to try to sneak around or maybe try to scramble for some big plays here and there.
Yeah. Or a quarterback draw and also play action. He's usually pretty good in play action. So
yeah, play action, all the other stuff. But the crazy part is tush push is no longer a playbook as much as I've heard.
Yeah, so we've been using it, but not as much. The Chicago game, we used it up 10-3, and one of the Bears defenders, we had the ball at the 10-yard line, 10 yards from tying the game. Or was it 10-9? No, I think it was 10-9 actually. And we were like about to take the lead on 3rd and 1. They ran the tush push. One of the Bears defenders punched the ball out of Jalen Hurts' arm as he was trying to reach ahead for the goal line and fumbled the ball. And he ended up turning it over. And ever since then, it's almost like they've been scared to run the play because a lot of that is moving the ball forward and the ball's like openly exposed. The Giants game, they blew the forward progress dead, and the Giants defender punched the ball out, and we caught a break there. But he was in the air for a while there during that Giants play.
Yeah, I've seen other teams start using it a little bit. Like even the Niners started using it a little bit when Mac Jones was running a little bit. When they needed to get a first down, they even try to do a tush push with Mac Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of like
do a lot.
Yeah. They were doing a little bit on him, and then Purdy was getting a little bit of that tush push, but it was only on a 4th and short or something like that.
Yeah.
But this year's Niners offense has been like the most consistent at that point, except that Seattle game where we barely punt the ball. That's like the most I've seen this offense score. I think this is like the rare offense. I mean, there was like an entire like almost a month that our punter didn't even kick the ball.
Oh, wow. That's insane.
I think it was like the month of November until the last 2 games he had a kick.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like, mostly you got to kick the ball when you're not moving down the field, but that Seattle game was different. We had a punt every now and then, man.
Yeah.
And that game, before that Bears game, we only punted once.
Yeah. I like our punter, Braden Mann.
Braden Mann?
Yeah.
Yeah, we got Thomas Morstead. He's been around the league for so many years.
Yeah, okay. He was on a couple different teams before you guys. Okay, yeah.
Because he's got the connections with Robert Saleh when he was over there in New York.
Okay. You think Robert Saleh leaves you guys to take a head coaching position?
I think depending on the opening, I think if the Ravens offer him the job, I think he'll take it.
Okay. Yeah, he's a good coach, and honestly, I didn't think the Jets should have let him go, but
it just seemed like it didn't work out. But
Yeah.
honestly, if the Raiders and Cardinals try to offer him that position, if I'm Saul, I would turn that shit down because you don't want to be on a dysfunctional franchise. You want to be on a team like the Ravens that are more because all he needs is a quarterback. He can fix it.
I don't know with the Cardinals. I don't know, but I mean, I was saying it about Jonathan Gannon and Kyler Murray. Like when you're year 3 as a coach and you're 3-13, that's just not getting the job done right there. And with how like dull he was in his meetings, like I'm not surprised like players weren't buying into it. The Raiders are so dysfunctional. It was a good move for them to fire Pete Carroll, but there's a lot of question marks there. So,
yeah, you don't have a good culture in Las Vegas. That's the problem.
also,
And I don't
like,
think
they fire their coaches like every year.
it's like it's like one of those seasonal jobs. It's like you can get a job on Indeed.com. Best part is if you get fired, you still get it the next couple of years.
Yeah.
Hey man, I could be a head coach for the Raiders and they could just fire me after that.
Yeah.
Hey,
But
they hired
Baltimore
this.
is an intriguing head coaching job, and the Browns ain't a bad head coaching job either.
Oh yeah, huh? The Browns, huh? If only they could get they got a pretty good defense. I would think the only thing is I don't know if Shador's the answer, but maybe you just have to see what he could be.
Yeah. And then you got to play Pittsburgh and Joe Burrow, and that is a tough division. But
It is a tough division, but Baltimore job is probably the most intriguing because you have a good culture there. I think they just needed a new change of a head coach. That's it.
yeah, it's crazy because like if that kicker made that kick late in Pittsburgh, Harbaugh probably gets another year, and it's Tomlin that probably gets fired in Pittsburgh.
Oh, dude, Steeler fans are upset.
Yeah, they hate Tomlin.
Dude, I was just looking at a couple posts from other Steeler fans. Even what's that dude? Mac Sports Yenzer. He was already talking about how that game could have got Tomlin fired already.
Yeah, I think if he made that,
he was mad.
Harbaugh. I was watching that game too. I think Harbaugh stays the Ravens coach for another year, and Tomlin would have been the one getting fired. Is probably
Tomlin just seems to be the lucky guy, man. He can't even find a way to get below 500.
Yeah. And the Steelers, like, I've only had 3 head coaches since the 60s.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Their loyalty to a head coach is it's a very rare franchise. They stick with this coach. But Tomlin has never had a losing record. That's the crazy part.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, the Steelers can be as bad as they are. The only bad you can be is only winning, like, 9 games.
Yeah.
And even 9 games is not too bad.
Yeah.
But you don't get a good draft pick. That's the bad part.
Yeah, you're drafting middle of the pack, and even if you're making the playoffs, you're drafting in the both.
That's what the fans are so upset about. They want to change. They don't think they think it's stale with Tomlin right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh? But
it's crazy.
Yeah, but yeah, we pretty much covered a lot of what we got to say, bro. But hey, may the best team win.
Definitely.
Yeah. Hey,
I would say good luck to you, but I don't really mean that. So.
No, but in all perspective, we'll see what happens. Maybe in the near future we can do something down the road, man. But
yeah.
And for everybody else, man, tell them who you are.
I am Eagles fan for life 17. Go Birds.
All right, let's see what happens, and let's go Niners, and let's call it a day.
All right, go Birds.
All right, for sure, man.
All right, man.